Here we are guys, for another Automobilista 2 race. This time it was an online race and it was a multi-class race. We were driving the Sigma P1 G5, so we had the P1 class, which is as fast as an European LMP3 around that. And we had the LMDh as the fastest class, the new DLC car class, and we also had some LM GT3 cars. I had no time for qualis, so the start of the race is pretty chaotic. Some of these drivers are very unskilled. Lucky the server have damage off, because there were tons of contacts during this race. This guy is pushing me off the track already. Because of him I end up getting a track limit warning and doing an illegal overtake. But at the same time I try to escape the chaos. Here we go, three side by side together. I'm in the middle, which ends up being better for me because both guys try to squeeze me. These guys must be really bad drivers because they have no track awareness, or they are on purpose trying to crash me and another drivers into the walls, trying to ruin our races, but they end up ruining themselves. The skill gap becomes even more noticeable when I'm able to outpace some of the guys that are driving in the faster class. These are probably new drivers, which is normal on a public lobby. Again, here we go, three side by side. These are really fast LMDh cars. They have much higher top speeds than me, and I cannot do anything against that on the straight lines. During the cornering, however, I'll be able to outpace some of these drivers, and I'm even using the car setup that I was using for my Spa world record, with a little bit of a few tweaks, trying to adjust for this track. Here I move to the right, trying to leave room for this Porsche driver to overtake me with this faster LMDh car. And there is a massive shunt in front of us. The BMW was braking too early, or the Cadillac didn't brake soon enough. Luckily there is no damage, so the guys are able to still keep racing. Under normal conditions, both of those cars will be out of the race. Again, here I have to adapt. Usually I drive the faster class in multi-class races, but because I'm driving the slower class, I have to adapt and adjust myself to drive around faster cars and expect the overtakes, trying to avoid contact so I don't mess up my own race. The funny thing here is that I am starting to overtake many of the LMDh cars.
He's still left.
The P1 class is almost as fast as an European LMP3 car, but the LMDh cars are almost as fast as an LMP1 car. Some of the guys are overtaking me again, and now on the next corner I'm afraid to crash into them, so I'll be very conservative in the way I drive. I'll be very careful, maybe a tiny bit slower than I would like, but also it's the first lap. I'm getting the feeling for the setup, the car and the track with the temperatures. Whoa! The car did a massive jump here. In real life this would have damaged the underneath of the car. The aerodynamics could be compromised, or even the suspension, and it could be even hurting the driver. I could be hurt from that bump there. These are some pretty fast sweeping corners, but the LMDh in front of us just went into the gravel. Maybe the guy thought that he could take these corners flat out, which is not possible. Even though the LMDh cars are much faster here if they have the proper setup, you have to be feathering the throttle a little bit.
The track temperature is decreasing. It's now 38 Celsius.
My team radio engineer is telling me that the track temperature is decreasing, so this means that the sun might be setting sooner rather than later. The time progression is sped up so fast that we might have a 24-hour cycle during a 30-minute race.
Great stuff. Keep it coming, mate. You're in the lead.
Here I'm leading my car class. I'm in P1 and the guy in P2 is 8 seconds behind me. Massive understeer on exit of this chicane, the iconic chicane at the start of the Le Mans circuit. I end up getting another warning for track limits due to this understeer on exit. I ended up cutting a little bit on the curbs. Again, we have another really fast LMDh car enclosing on us, and we will have to be able to manage to let the overtake happen without having any contact. I don't want to ruin his race, and I don't want him to ruin my race as well. The safest bet for these guys to overtake is on the Mulsanne straight. Of course, it's a part of the track where you have a lot of space, you have a faster class car, It should be easy there on a straight line. The corners can be a little bit riskier, especially if they are tight or if the cars come into contact. That can ruin the race, and it's not fun to ruin the race if you had the opportunity to have a safe overtake without that much risk. Now I'm trying to do my best to follow closely the LMDh in front of me to get some slipstream from this car in front. Because I'm not aware of the pace of everyone around me, I'm not sure of how hard I can push this thing, if I should be careful with the tires because it's a 30-minute race. And I just remember I need to keep an eye out for the oil temperature on my engine as well, because I'm not sure if the engine can blow up, if I can damage the engine with overheating or not, because damage is off. Maybe the car should be overheating already because I'm taking such a long time hitting the rev limiter during the straights. I don't know if I could have like longer gears from the car setup, and that would make my 6th gear a little bit longer, and that could save my engine a little bit and also give me a little bit more top speed. We are starting to get some sun flare from the sun starting to set down. When we had the sun on our back, the sky was getting a darker blue tint, so the graphics on Automobilista 2 are really amazing. You really get the feeling of the time changes and the weather just from the graphics. I don't know how I'm being able to keep up with these two LMDh cars in front of me. Maybe they are fighting a lot between each other. I'm even starting to catch up to them pretty quickly, especially on the slower parts of the track. And for me it's always entertaining to watch other drivers race around me, see them fighting while I'm focusing on my race at the same time. I must keep in mind to not forget to use DRS, drag reduction system, because I can use it everywhere on the track with this car. Whoa, and there is another massive high-speed crash there. The Porsche car was braking a little bit too early and the Cadillac crashed into him. Unfortunately, he was sent into the Shadow Realm and there is no more fun racing to watch in front of us. At least we are in front of another LMDh car now, which means we are getting more overtakes on faster class cars. It's always funny to do that, of course. I just noticed, but on our car class we are only 5 cars now, but when the race started we were 7 cars. So we ended up going down from 7 cars in the P1 class to 5 cars. 2 of the guys were taken out in the race and maybe they quit, or they just noticed they were just too slow, or for some reason they disconnected, I don't know, but we don't have them here anymore. We are properly getting into the sunset, and because there is not much action, this is actually really beautiful to watch the sunset and the landscape on this track. Of course, I'm already thinking about the temperatures and how it will affect my tires and if it will affect the handling of the car, etc. I'm already thinking about the performance as well. But at this moment, I'm not feeling any big difference, there is no conclusion yet. Maybe because now we are going into the night, I'm not as worried about the engine temperatures as I was before. I'm at 130 Celsius, but I hope the engine won't be overheating too much because the temperatures should be dropping. Going into the chicane we can see lots of dust at the right on the gravel. There is the Cadillac LMDh that was in front of us. That's unfortunate for the guy, but he ended up binning it and now he was stuck on the gravel for a little bit. This is looking really nice on the replay, but there is not much going on. Maybe I should do a nice time lapse. Only just now I ended up turning up the lights. I was forgetting to turn up the lights. I'm able to see the track really well, but I should have the lights on at this time of the day already. Looks more appropriate in the replay as well. I'm thinking about the tires, looking into the tires, and they seem to be behaving quite well. They're not too hot, they're not wearing too fast. Maybe if the tires start to get a bit colder during the night, I might need to be pushing the car a little bit harder, because that will keep the tires warmer. Other than that, it seems to be really comfortable and really nice on the tires. I'll be able to do the whole race with minimal tire wear. I'm pulling a massive 20-second advantage over the guy that's behind me in my own car class here. I was hoping the setup would work, but maybe the setup is working really well. I don't know. Here we overtake a back marker that's driving the same car class as us, but the guy is in last and he seems to be having very bad internet connection issues. The sunset transition into the night is looking really amazing, but I have to greatly speed up this because there's not much going on. For quite a few time I'll be driving just by myself, trying to keep up, just being consistent and enjoying this car. Driving at night without any digital information on the screen does look a lot more immersive. And it would be even better if I had no light around me. Tell me what you think of the video in the comments down below, leave your like and subscribe to the channel if you want to watch more content. Thank you very much for the support. Somehow during the night I was able to catch up to this Porsche LMDh 963. Maybe having different car classes can be good when there is a strong skill gap between a few drivers, because if we were driving the same car it could be a bit more boring since he would be a slow back marker, but because he's driving a faster car we can have some close racing and we can have some more fun, especially when so many drivers are quitting because of the accidents they have. We are only 9 drivers now, and on a 30 minutes race, if you're not fighting for positions, the race ends up becoming a bit stale and boring. There were also no safety cars, maybe the feature was disabled, so we never had the chance to bring the pack together. Well, even though I have a 30-second lead, I'm not sure if it's worth for me to fight too hard for the position, because I'm already winning in my class and I don't want to waste the race. So it's better for me to avoid contact, and I will only do it if it's a really safe overtake. And he is going a bit too wide, ends up going into the gravel. We also overtake a back marker, so this is 2 overtakes for the price of 1, and we barely have to move off the racing line. Maybe the guy was feeling the pressure, I don't know. He had the power to outpace me pretty easily on that car. Maybe now I'm the one who starts to feel the pressure with a faster class car behind me. And you can see here the way I throw myself at these chicanes over the curbs. I'm on the edge of sliding or spinning the car, but at this moment I'm trying my best to keep up my best pace.
That's the quickest lap for your class. That was a 3:33.7. Your times are good in all 3 sectors.
I end up doing my quickest lap for my class, which is nice of course. It's still a long way to go, 3 more laps for the win, the 6th, 7th and 8th laps. Let's see how the race unfolds. Let's have a quick look on some of the trackside replay cameras. I will be speeding up this part of the race, but this part was really hard for me because I was feeling the pressure from the car behind and I had to be very careful not to lose the position. At the same time it was really nice to have a nice distraction to see the sun rising, the sky changing colors from night into the day. The sunrise transitions are very nice in Automobilista too. The dawn of day is the sign that our race is getting close to the end. Still, it was very fun for me to overtake all sorts of different class cars and at the same time to do one of my best performances. I believe I had to focus really hard to avoid contact, being consistent and also be able to take advantage of the opportunities that will present themselves to me during the race. If I had not been on point with the car setup and my performance, I would not be able to achieve this result on this race. And here I go into my last lap at Circuit de La Sarthe, Le Mans, while I'm watching the sunrise. This is the coldest time of the day usually, and we will be getting some morning fog. That fog that's very humid. This is the most humid time of the day and the coolest time of the day as well. On this lap I really have to be consistent and to focus. I have to try my best because the guy behind me on this LMDh car will be trying to snatch the third position away from me, and I can't let that happen, can I? Of course not. I'm not going to let this ruin the race for me. It has been a huge fun to be racing like this, and I want to get the best result possible that I can get out of this race. Ever since I overtook him, this guy has been on my tail and I've been having a battle trying to outpace him at every turn. During the last few laps I've been doing my best to avoid losing time to him and trying to be as consistent as I can, and I cannot beat it on the last lap. I'm starting to feel that I deserve the position that I am in now because I fought for it so hard that I don't want to lose it by any means. I had to be careful with my pedal inputs. I had to be always deploying DRS on point, trying to do my best to keep up with the pace. AMS 2 is a little bit more forgiving on the pedals, but it's still fun to modulate them, of course. I didn't wear out much of the tires. Maybe I could have been driving a little bit more aggressively, but I'm not sure. It felt to me that I was a little bit on edge, and I didn't want to risk spinning the car like so many did before me. In my opinion, my tires seem to have behaved quite well. I don't notice any flat spots on my steering wheel on the force feedback. I don't think I had any really big lockups or anything. The tires are not too worn. I think I could have worn the tires a little bit more depending on the way I was driving and also depending on the track temperatures, of course. But in my opinion, there was no point in overdriving the car just to get something more out of the tires if I didn't get more consistent laps and faster lap times. The landscape during sunrise is always really beautiful, and the colors on the sky are always something different than the colors when you are watching sunset. It's hard to explain, of course. It's interesting though damage was off. I do have one single point of damage on the engine, as you can see there on the right bottom corner graphic. Maybe that point of damage is related with the engine temperatures because of the smaller radiator opening for the car setup. Maybe the car was overheating a little bit in the straights, I'm not sure. The guy behind us in the Porsche LMDh is getting dangerously close to us. The race is nearing the end, but he is less than 1 second away of us. This is going to be really close to the finish line. I'm trying to push the car. I don't want to lose the position, but I cannot push too hard, otherwise I can spin and lose this position. This was a ton of pressure on me on the last seconds of the race. My heart was racing right now. Going into the 2 chicanes for the last time in this race. Carried a little bit too much speed, the car was unsettled by the curves. The guy behind is just 2 tenths away. And it's the Sigma P1 G5 that crosses the checkered flag first, wins first position in its class and gets 3rd position overall in the Multiclass here at Circuit de La Sarthe, Le Mans. What a race that was for me. Really fun, this one. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed the race. It was a really fun race for me, and it was a special race because it was my first time at Le Mans with a different car other than the LMDh. Tell me what you think of this race in the comments. Leave me your opinions on the performance that I had, or even your driving tips if you have them. Don't forget to leave the like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Any support to the channel is very much appreciated. Thank you guys for sticking around and see you next time. Have a great day.